time for some stories. There.
Well, where you at? What? Now what?
Now you have to start talking. I think we left off from Hardesty, and now we're to Telfordville.
We moved into the Duke for the winter.
Oh, well, you haven't talked about that then.
Well, you were telling stories about terriers.
That's when we were going. That's when we were going back. We were going into Leduc.
Okay.
So we spent the winter in Leduc.
Yeah, we told you what happened when we got Leduc. Mother, instead of taking us to the hotel the way Dad said, we stopped there at the house all night.
There was a big fat girl in there. They used to tease me about her. The Loomis girl. He said she was so big that I had to, went to hug her, I had to make a chalk mark to get around her. But it wasn't like that at all. I could get around her with like just one trip.
Was that the Loomis girl from out here? There was Loomis's out here.
No, Loomis is in Leduc. They owned the garage in Leduc. Where the tire shop is, that was Loomis's garage.
Where was your dad working at that time? Was he still with the railroads
He
then?
still was on CPR and Edmonton. How long did you work in Edmonton?
When did he go to Hannah?
Well, he worked
'Cause
out.
I was telling stories about when we used to go to Hannah, and it was only little. Somebody was from Hannah, and I was telling them that we used to go down there in the summertime. And
You know, I was left alone at
but
home.
that, I don't know. It seemed to me I was what, 10 years old. Would have been older
Well,
at that
see,
time.
you were how much younger? You're what, 7 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be 17, so you'd be 10.
Something, yeah. That was a long
I think
time.
I was around 17 when you. I used to milk the cows, did everything alone. Everybody else left. Bertie was already left home by that time.
So say, I don't know
You'd be
too much.
19, so.
I don't know too much about Telfordville because I wasn't there very much. Outside of that first fall, which we were also told of when Selma was there and how bad it was. And
Well, how long did you go to school, to Telfordville School?
I went when we come back out to Telfordville. I finished my grade 8 there in
That was that same year, was it?
the same
Okay,
year,
yeah, I was-
and that's all I went to school in
Yeah,
Telfordville.
I was in 6, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I should have passed the year before, you see, but I had trouble writing my exams. I had all these boils, and I had so much trouble and was sick. And, ordinarily, you know, nowadays they would get special permission and you'd write them over. But in those days, if you didn't write your exams,
You had boils, you failed.
if you had boils, you failed. That's right. And I had 30 boils where I
Do
couldn't
I need
sit
to
down.
sit closer, or am I all right here? Do you want me to sit on the Chesterfield, or is it okay?
It's okay. We've still got you
Okay.
in.
Because I don't want to be left out.
Well, that's what I told you. You should, before you and Leeson go on reminiscing about Telfordville, you should tell about that terrible trip we had moving back out.
Moving back. Well,
Then
you'd say it was terrible. I didn't think it was so terrible. We just walked all the way out to Telfordville.
Oh,
From the
through
Duke.
the mud, chased the cow through the ditches up to water up to our waist. We were soaking wet.
We had,
wasn't that told?
Bertie, do you want this?
Wasn't that told before?
No.
Or was that?
Is it my
Your
juice?
juice.
Maybe not.
No, I
we
guess
got
it's
out
too
as
warm.
far as
Feels pretty cool.
the old McDonald farm, and then the cows lay down, wouldn't go any farther.
That's right.
Bertie and I walked all the way from the Duke and chased the cows. When we got out about 4 miles from home, 5 miles from home, the cows wouldn't go any farther. They lay down.
They were
So
played out.
They lay down, wouldn't go anymore, so we had to wait. We stayed overnight at McDonald's, and next morning we chased the cows the rest of the way home.
Mrs. McDonald, she was a rough old lady, and we were scared of her. You know, she talked to rough. She took us kids in, and she soaked our feet in hot water and gave us hot water bottles and put us to bed and brought us hot drinks and brought us our meal up to bed.
Her feet were soaking wet from walking in the
She
Move
thought
your
we
chair
were
over
going
just
to
a
die
little bit
of
towards the
pneumonia
couch.
before the morning was over.
Just need to pull your chair over a little
I
closer
can
to
sit
the
on the
couch.
Chesterfield there beside them. I don't have to pull the chair over.
Well, it's only about a couple inches that's nipping off a piece.
Lean, just move over.
Move over, Lisa. I'll sit on
This
this side.
Chesterfield's too wide for me. That's why I have to
Oh.
put this cushion at my back.
Back to the farmer, and they're talking to his horse, and they're supposed to say, please.
Get over. Gee, huh?
You know.
This, well, wait. I should maybe tell this story about Bertie.
yeah.
That's what
All right, you tell this story that you wouldn't tell before.
You know, we don't want to hear it on TV because I have an idea it isn't very nice or something.
No, well, it's not dirty. It's mean, but not.
I never was mean in my life, so I don't want to tell any make-up any.
If I'm going to tell a story on Bertie, I got to tell two.
All
I'll
right.
start out with the one that Bertie will remember really good. The time Bill and I were fighting over the rope.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
I
yes.
remember that one.
We had the rope, and I don't know. Finally, Bertie got wind of us fighting over the rope, so she come out and she tried to, talk. One used it for a while, and the other one used it. And of course, that was fine, but I wanted it first, and Bill wanted it first, so she decided the best way was to cut it in two. She took it over to the cutting block and got the axe, and wham! She cut the rope in two, but she cut the end of her finger off too.
Oh, no.
Well, not
Bill-
quite.
not just kind of more the skin, I guess, and part of the nail.
Oh, it was hanging. It was hanging.
And Bill cried, was so sorry, but I said, served her right. She shouldn't have tried to cut the rope.
Bill come in and helped me tie it up.
He was soft.
I put the
Oh, Lisa's real
tied
sympathetic.
it on good and tight, and it grew back on again, the same as this one. You see, last year I nearly cut the end
Yeah,
off
you did.
there, and look at how good it sewed. I thought sure that in the end they were going to have to take it off, but they didn't. They went and sewed it back on. And
But then they
That's something. It's just hanging by a piece of skin here. And,
yours is worse. Look at how nice mine is. You didn't have a good doctor like I did.
I split mine here.
Well, you're
like
better
you,
than
but
me. I could have
just left
cut
it
mine.
hanging by a piece of skin.
I could have cut mine off too, but mine is
We're
was
comparing
right
too,
here.
like she chopped a piece off.
Mine
of
is
it.
healed up.
I'm the only one that had a good doctor. I've got a nice thumb yet.
I didn't have no doctor.
Well, when Dad chopped his off, he picked it up and he shoved it on the wrong
No,
way.
it was hanging down, so I
Did it grow?
held it together.
Yeah, it grew back to front, but it grew.
I kicked the door and said, open the door. And she said, open it yourself. I said, I can't hold my thumb on. But this got, no, you can tell the other story,
Oh,
Lisa.
well.
This is kind of getting us
Yes,
off.
it's got
Yeah,
everybody interested.
That's the
I don't.
story.
This is Russell was involved, and I don't remember what the problem was, but I don't think we could have been that good because Bertie and I don't know who was with me, and I can remember that if you don't shut up and be good, that Morris chair is what brought that picture of the Morris chair. Is what
Oh,
brought
yeah.
this to mind. If you don't be good, I'll tie you in that Morris chair, and of course I wasn't going to be good, and so I ended up being tied up in the Morris chair, and Bertie was one of the mean persons that tied me up there. They might have had a reason, I don't know, but I would doubt it. but I can't remember who was with you. Probably Vivian. That was on the old farm, but that was the Morris chair that I got tied up in.
And they tied you up and left you?
I don't know how long.
We have to tie them up till
They
we
let me
got
do-
our work done because they probably were being so bad.
Well, I think probably the girls were being ornery with us, and us little boys and big sisters, you know how it goes.
Poor little fellows. I'm so sorry for you.
But that's the two stories that I could remember that Bertie was involved with.
That wasn't so bad. That's
No.
no skeletons in the
It's
closet
just a
there.
bit-
Hanging him in a
I
chair.
thought that was a good story. Thanks. That's a compliment that I could do.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't at all.
I would like to remember
Was
what
this
we
at
were doing.
Calvertville?
This was at the old
You know,
farm.
we
You're
never-
probably fighting, because you always are fighting, you and Bill. They used to scrap like you wouldn't believe. They just
Because
wail
the
the hell
door-
out of each other.
The door on the east side of the house used to be pretty near dead center, didn't it?
Yes.
And that Morris chair used to
Yeah.
sit right there, and it seemed to me that I can still remember trying to get out the door, trying to get the Morris chair out the door when I was tied in it, but
I'd like to hear that.
it was too big, I couldn't make it.
I'd like to hear that story too about Big Dog.
Oh, that's way back in Hardesty.
Yeah. when I was-
I'd have to tell that. Bernard can't remember it at all.
Can't? Okay.
I remember saying pig dog, but I said pig dog, that's my swear word.
Pig Dog
Yeah,
was supposed to
I
be a
didn't know
swear
there was
word, yeah.
anything other word, but Dad never swore around us children.
No.
He did it when we got older. He used some real cuss words.
I don't
I never
remember that. I
ever
don't
did
remember
hear
Dad
it.
swearing.
I
I
never
can
did
remember
remember
when he went older, he'd swear.
I
But he
can remember
never
one
swore.
time he used the big word, and then he put his hand over his mouth, and he was really embarrassed after he used it. I thought, boy, that's a pretty good word.
Oh, he dealt with it, and he used
You
it
save
for
it for
work.
future
Yeah,
references. Huh?
I probably used it too after nothing brought it
Yeah.
up.
Well, these boys are reminiscent of Tullville. Let them talk about Tullville, and then I can tell this story at the end
Okay, sure.
about the pig dog one.
Okay. So we got to start
I
off
don't
with
think
Telford.
Bernard ever
What year did you go to
use anything
Telfordville?
worse than pig dog? Did you in your life?
Well, I'd say
Well, I used lots of words, words when I got older. When I knew it, once I learned the words. I didn't know any other words in those days. I thought I
Well,
was
thank
swearing.
goodness.
well, I say
No, I guess it's all right if you don't know how to swear, but
So what
They're
year?
passing laws now, so you're trying to stop people from swearing to some.
I
Had
say,
some preacher on TV the other night.
It's the mayor of the town.
Yeah, mayor, he passed a law saying.
Anywhere from
profanity
$10 to $500
was-
fine.
Fantasy wasn't allowed.
So what year did you move
Good
to
idea.
Telfordville?
I was going to say, I was 5 years old when I went to Telfordville, so that would have made it the year 1924. But Bernard said, I think he says that I'm wrong. It was 1925.
25.
Oh, well, within a year.
25
Around
in
the
July.
same era.
So,
And the house that it didn't have any shingles on it, and I was 12 years old, so Uncle Harry, he built the house such as it was, and he put a row on each side, double row like you start out shingles, and then he told me to go ahead and shingle. He showed me how to lay it. He had a 6-inch board, and each time you go up this 6-inch board, and I finally got the house shingled, and it was
Pretty good
40
time.
years later, it hadn't leaked, so for a 12-year-old, I made a good job.
That's right.
did we tell the story what happened before you got a shingle?
Well, yes, a big rainstorm
The
come.
rainstorm and when you,
We got soaking wet.
yeah, I didn't, but Russell and me and Mum didn't.
Oh, you had the boards up on that'd be high.
Over the
I
bed.
The bed had a high front and low. They had some boards there, some tar paper on it. The water ran off, but Bill and I,
Vivian and I got soaking wet.
so Bill and I, we had the table.
Well, I don't, well, okay, I don't think you, Bertie was there. This
Yes, I was
particular
there.
one, were you?
When
Because
it
I remember getting up in the
rained
morning.
and snowed, yes, I
Didn't
remember
know
this-
it
that.
was
this
snow.
was- oh, this was the
in the
summertime.
summertime, right after we moved out there in July.
Yeah, well, I was
There was
there.
no snow.
But
Because
the
they said-
snow came in before we left there, and it was.
Oh
cold.
yeah, I know. That was in November when we
Yeah.
left, though.
But they
But I had
said,
it shingled before November.
Yeah.
they said to Bernard and Bill, did you get wet? No, we're not wet. They took the oilcloth off the table and put it over, and they were laying in a pool of water, but it was nice and warm. They didn't even go through it. Yeah.
They got up and soaking wet.
Well, I was there, Vivian and I were soaking wet.
It's like when you went to bed.
Just like when you.
But I was used to
like
it
when we
because
used to
down
sleep
Uncle
straight in the
Harry,
bed.
Mom and I were
The
always
one in the
wet.
middle always got soaking wet.
That was the beginning of the water beds.
That was a water bed. All
And
right.
I would tell you that was where I played an awful dirty trick on you back there. Maud and I, well, you go on and talk about, I'll tell this later. You two talk about, finish up Telfordville now.
Well, how long were you living in? How long did you live in Telfordville for?
Well, we lived in Telfordville, actually Telfordville till 1929 when the Thorsby come to being. And after that, Telfordville
We
kind of
moved
faded
that
away and everything went to Thorsby. But
We moved our
But to
post
that
office. We got our mail in Thursby after
Yeah.
1929.
But up to that time,
Everything
it was
at
just
Telfordville, we went down there, all the dances. We had fairs at Telfordville. We had picnics at Telfordville, and dances and card parties in the wintertime. And
Sounds like a
Telfordville was
pretty
a
tight
going
community.
concern.
Can you remember your Christmas
We
concert?
had a ball
in
team, a
Telfordville?
baseball team,
Yeah,
and we had a football team even at one time. I played football on the team.
the time Dad played, they played the Indians.
Yeah.
The Indians come down
He
to
beat us
Telfordville.
1-0.
And Dad was playing, and Dad was, I guess he was pretty good, but
He could run fast.
but there again, there with Bill, he's much more sympathetic than me. Dad was playing, and he always kicked his knee out of joint. So they're out there playing the Indians and just giving her, and all of a sudden there's a big gathering out in the field, and here Dad is down, and his knee's out of joint. Of course, Bill was there again, and he was crying and feeling so sorry for Dad. I was, put it back in and let him go because we want to win this game.
When the Indians beat
But I
us
think that was
1-0.
the end of that. Yeah.
It was just a fluke, too, that they got the one. He was kicking out a pass, and there was a strong wind blowing, and the damn wind took the ball and blew it up in the corner of the damn goal.
Oh, I don't remember that. Though.
I do, because I was on the team.
Were you playing too?
I played, sure, I was on the team.
Oh, okay.
I was always on the football team. They call it soccer now, but we called it football. It's the same game pretty well as the soccer is, but we called it football. Oh, yeah, I played football.
And that would have been what year?
Oh, I'd be 16, whatever. That 20. I'd be 12. It'd be
You're 16. I'd be
29.
9.
I'd be 29.
Yeah, I'd be, yeah.
1929.
Well, I thought it was probably before that because I know we used to go down there. We'd save up our money. That was a big thing. The picnic in Telfordville in the summer. Save up all my money. It ended up usually with 15 cents.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
got you banana
Well, what was
and
the
ice cream
population
for-
like about in that time of Telfordville?
There wasn't much population. There was a store, the post office,
Yeah,
and
wouldn't be 10.
there was no garage or anything in those days.
But I mean, as far as the people around it.
Van Alstyne's owned the land there, and the post office is on their place. So there was Van Alstyne and his wife and about 3 kids. Across the road was Billy Breton with Billy.
Well, wouldn't it be much of a picnic with 10
And
people?
Douglas Breton
Oh,
is
but
across
they
the
come
road.
from miles
Oh, they
around.
come from
Oh,
all,
this was.
everybody come off from all over for a picnic.
Oh, you'd be
And
surprised.
St.
Alfredville
Francis,
was.
all the surrounding districts.
What would you call
Even
it?
the
It was
Duke-
the entertainment center
The
of, the,
Duke
of
ball
our
team
area.
come out to
Oh, yeah.
Talbottville.
Yeah. Well, we had a good
You
ball
never
team.
know it today.
Oh no.
No. Right where the bridge goes across today, that's where the the picnic grounds were, right there. That's where they were in
The
there.
swimming hole used to be just about right there.
A little to the east. swimming
Did you ever stop to think that was all Van Alstyne's? Van Alstyne donated the land for the church. He donated the land for the hall, and he had the post office, and the picnic ground was on his land. And we used to run around there, did no respect for his land or
I don't
anything
wanna
else.
be
He
in this
never,
thing.
as far as I know, never blinked an eye.
Yeah, but don't you remember when we used to go to the picnic grounds? You used to go down below their house and across the creek and way
Yes.
over.
Across the creek.
And sometimes
And
you
way
go
over there.
right through their yard and right down.
Right
to-
Right,
down
you could
on
go
the
both
creek,
ways.
Yeah, you could
You
go
went down
either
below
way,
the
yeah.
building and you could go through the yard. You used to go across this creek and then
we
up
crossed
again,
the
and there
creek.
was a picnic grounds there.
Yeah, we crossed the creek always when we went.
'Cause we come here in 23.
Yeah, they said that the post office was up. Billy Breton had the post office before Nelson had it.
Yeah.
Oh, could be.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't remember. Maybe my
That's what
dad,
I was told just the other day.
maybe my dad did.
Junie
Yeah, it's in the
Dolling was
history
telling me. Junie Dolling was telling me this.
It's in the history book.
He said that I said that when Olson had the post office, she said Billy Breton had it first.
Yep.
Then it went across the road to Van Olstein.
Yeah.
Van
He was
Olstein
16.
also hauled the mail.
He was 16 around then. That must have been about the time you met Mum.
I was 17 when Thorsby started. I met Mum after Thorsby after 1929.
No.
When Thorsby that fall.
Because I thought you said you were 16.
Yeah,
and
I'd be
she was
16.
15.
I'd be 16 coming on 7. I'd be 17 in the spring when I met Mum.
And then you moved to Thorsby, but you moved to that old house that. Oh no, you were on the.
We would live on first year we were married. We had a Jimmy Grant's place rented, and then we moved over to Alf Pearson's place. We also
Yeah,
built a
that
house
was
to
back
live
in
in
22.
really on Alf. Then after
We
the
come here
war,
in 23 and we were.
after the boys all went to
my
war,
brothers and,
there was
and
nobody.
them
So
grew up
Dad
together,
sold
you know,
what.
so a lot of this
and-
comes back to me.
We moved on the home place then. And then after in 1943, then we went to Thorsby. There was nobody left on that farm. They'd all gone to the city to work. Cause
But
That's
But
when you
what-
bought the Burgess farm.
the Burgess farm.
and when did you move into that blue house that was across the road?
Oh, in 53.
Oh.
No. Yeah, 53, I think it was.
Yeah, that's been about right.
Yeah, 53.
Moved into there, and then you built the other one.
We built another one on the other side. Built a new house
But
in
that
Barager.
was where the original farm was
Yeah.
on that side.
Yeah, we lived on there first. Then we bought the other 80 acres from Mike Basula.
Missoula, yeah.
Well, the hospital, when was that taken down?
Oh, shortly after we moved there, 43, 44. It was falling in the basement anyway, the hospital. There wasn't much good lumber in it, but somebody stripped all the good lumber out
But
of
it
it.
did run for quite a few years, didn't
Oh,
it?
yes. From,
Was any of your children born there?
3 of them were.
In that
Irene
hospital?
was born in the Royal Allegheny.
Oh, yeah.
Lauren and Gordon
Doris.
and Doris were born there.
Oh. And Vivian's, some of Vivian's were born.
Yeah, some of Vivian's was born there.
Oh. Gordon was because that's where.
Rosaline was born there.
She was born at the old hospital?
Pardon?
She was born at the Thorsby Hospital?
Yeah, Rosaline was born. Mrs. Sechrist was after Mrs. Burgess had been sick and she didn't nurse in there in the hospital anymore. Mrs. Sechrist, I think her name was the nurse when
I remember her.
when Rosaline was born.
Well, Harry ran the hospital after his mother left. Mr. and Ms. Burgess had built a house in Edmonton, and they'd gone to Edmonton. And Harry ran it for, I don't know, 1 year.
You didn't have to be a licensed medical person to run that?
In those days, I guess you didn't have
No.
to.
It's more like midwifery sort of thing. And
Well, they had a doc. Well, Doc Hankin joined the Army, and that's when it closed down. They had no doctor anymore, so then they couldn't stay open.
That was in 41, I think he finished.
When he left,
41 or 42.
yeah, before you get rid of that time, because the hospital had what lumber was in there was already stripped out. There was only the floors. Everything else was logs, and slabs. It was all the building was made out of chicken wire and 4 grade of plastic. But I said there was a heck of a big hole underneath, and there was no foundation. It was all falling in the basement anyway. And I said all the lumber was gone, stripped out of it. So
Somebody was all just taking it
tore
apart.
down. A lot of it was sawed up and a lot of nails in it, but I sawed it up and sold it for firewood in downtown.
Yeah.
Made good dry firewood, little fall logs. There's a lot of stuff buried in that old hole where it was set there. There's beds and chairs and tables.
Just threw it all in the hole and covered it
Well,
over?
all old stuff anyway. It was all bulldozed.
Would be all worth a fortune today, it doesn't matter how
Yeah,
old
dig it
it
up, I
is.
guess.
It's worth a fortune
Bottles, all
today.
kinds of bottles.
Well, imagine they found that now once they start digging up for the golf course. Probably
Well,
coming grass and all that.
they
No, I don't
haven't done
think
nothing
so.
there
They
where
wouldn't
the
be
buildings
digging
But
are.
I remember for years though, there was sort of a cement border around there.
Yeah,
A footing type
rocks.
of thing because
We had some rocks in there.
Lauren and I used to always play there. And,
It wasn't filled in till 61. That's when we moved in there. I had the guy he was there with a bulldozer to level off for the barn.
Oh, yeah.
So I had him push that dirt, fill that hole in.
That's 34 years ago.
Boy, time flies, doesn't it?
61 was the year Dean was born, and he's 34.
Well, when you and Mum got married, did you go into the city to get married, or you get married right in
We
Thorsby?
got married in the city,
In the city?
All Saints Cathedral.
Oh,
Harry and Vivian and Louise went with us.
What about you, Bertie? Were you married in the city? Or at Thorsby?
No, I was married on the south side in the Anglican church, and I don't know, I can't remember what the name of it was, but I was married on the south side in the Anglican church, where there's that cathedral would be the Anglican church on the north side.
I'd have always thought you being from out in the farm like that, you'd have got married out in
So
your
with
own.
me, it was just Vivian
church.
and Slim Soltz and Sam and I. It was just the 4 of us went over.
It's all fairly small weddings in those days, eh?
And the
Yeah.
same minister that had confirmed me, he was the one that married me. Married us.
Mason, you and Doris were married in the city as well? or-
Married in the city too, yeah.
Where were you married at the
Courthouse, huh?
courthouse?
Courthouse, yeah. Which is now Winston Churchill Square, I think, isn't it? I think so. They tore the old one
yeah,
down.
Law Course, that's right down here, yeah.
You sure? Oh, I don't know. I thought it was down around the Parliament buildings where I know it was, because it was
And the
colder than blazes, about 30 below,
Yeah.
and I thought we'd done a little walking and
Arena's
Did a little
girl,
walking
wasn't it,
because
that
we
stood up
stayed-
for you?
Hmm?
Arena's girl, wasn't
Yeah, Irene, or
Ida
Ida
Ida.
Rees and
Russell,
Russell. Very good.
it? Russell who?
Barriger.
brother.
Uncle
Oh, your
Russ.
brother.
Yeah.
Oh. Because afterwards, when you had your wedding dance, it was a double wedding dance for another couple, and that was who was
Reuben
it?
and Shirley Smith.
Was it Reuben and Shirley Smith? Okay.
So you had a reception. Where did you have that?
Down at Bertie's house in town.
Oh.
When they came out, yeah.
Dance, so.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
dance
dance
was in
in
the
the
hall,
hall.
that was in
Dance.
Warburg.
I had the
That's
supper
Warburg, yeah.
first, and
We
then
didn't
they
have the
went to
dance
the dance.
till
Oh, okay.
2 weeks. 2 weeks after we were married, because we went to Millet and stayed with Granny and Granddad Barager for about 3 days. It snowed so much, the snow must have been
That's
2
gonna
feet deep.
come out on the video.
I don't know whether I
Very
should
cold.
Muffle the sound.
know whether I should tell this story either, but that night our honeymoon suite was up in the big grand hotel there in Warburg. And we were up there getting ready to go to the dance.
Yeah,
Bernard and Ida come along, and they weren't, I don't know, the weather wasn't good, and they weren't too pleased. Was it, that wasn't night of the dance?
night of the dance, but
Don't,
we were,
don't gosh. But that's the way, that's what it was, and they walked in. Mother was having a problem getting her brassiere on, and I was hooking it up from behind it. When they knocked on the door, and Ida said, "I've been having a bad day, but this really set things up." And she said, "This made my day now." And she was just as happy and giggled all evening.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, things like that. Something's got to kind of shock me to keep these things stuck in my mind. And
I remember I had such a time to get that supper ready because meat was rationed at that time. And I thought it was going to be a meatless supper. Farmers weren't allowed to sell you any meat, and you couldn't get any meat in town. But I had an awfully good neighbor was up the next farm to ours, so I went up there and said, please, you could bootleg me some chickens. And she said, yes, I can bootleg you some chickens, but you got to clean them yourself. I said, that's fine, just as long as you can chop the heads off and I can take them home. So she gave me 4 nice big roosters to take home. So I got them cleaned and we had a chicken. We had chicken
What
supper.
year was that?
1946. November 15th, 1946.
You were living in town at that time, were you, Bert?
Yeah, we were living in town, and Doris's folks got there, but I
Well,
don't
we
think
wouldn't.
Mother and Dad got there from
No.
Millet, did they?
No.
No, but
How did we get? Oh,
but
Willie
we-
probably drove
Yeah.
us. Willie Roof
Yeah.
had a
You-
car.
you
We
got-
didn't have a car at that time.
You got over for supper. I know I had
Well,
a long
we did,
living
yeah.
room there, you know,
We
and
had
I
Willie to drive us around
put
once in a while.
2 tables together, and I must have had about, at least 25, I think, altogether set along that table, so wasn't much left of those chickens. So.
What did you and Mom do after your wedding? Do you have a reception?
No. Yeah, no. Well, everybody was too damn poor to have anything in those
So you
days.
just got married and went home?
We stayed overnight in York Hotel, I think, on Jasper Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the York.
Must have had to have sold another pig or something to pay for that.
No, there wasn't much in those days, I'm telling you.
Because I know you had to sell one to buy Mom's dress.
Well, that's the only thing that nobody had any damn money. Harry bought her a pair of shoes, and I paid for the dress
And her hat.
and her hat, I guess. I had a few pigs, and they came up to $10 a piece, which is almost a fortune. They were down to as low as $1.75 a piece for pigs. They come up to $10 a piece, and I think I had 10 pigs. So. No, yeah, maybe. And Dad lent me a few dollars too, or it would have been. We bought a kitchen range from Eaton's on Time.
I think I have that receipt.
Have you?
I got stuff that
That
she's
was a
had
darn
at
good
from
stove,
layaway
too.
back in the
That was
early
a good stove.
middle 30s, 1930s.
And I just said, I don't know what's wrong with this darn stove. It dries the bread out too much. Well, I said, you cook it too long. Which she said, on my old stove at home, I had to cook it an hour. I said, well, try cooking a little less with this one then, because the oven was so much hotter. And she did fine after that.
That was still wood stoves, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, wouldn't go. Well, that heated our old house. So.
Yeah, guess we don't realize nowadays what you had to go through just to...
Cut the wood and I dug my own coal, so it wasn't much for fuel.
And you and Doris, where did you didn't live with me when you come back? You must have had that
No,
little
we-
house in Warburg, didn't you?
No, we rented, we rented old Brone or something near the
Yeah,
pool
Mr.
hall
Jones.
over there in that neck of the woods.
Right
A
across-
little house right
Back
behind
of
the pool hall. We rented the whole house for a couple of rooms.
No,
Because I
Mr.
know-
Brown lived in 2 rooms and we had the other 2.
I used my army, what was it they called it? Gratuity or
Gratuities.
we bought a new stove and all this fancy
Bedroom
Chesterfield
suite
and
Chesterfield.
we set up pretty good there.
And a
And the only place
dining or kitchen suite.
we bought it all from, what was his name up there? For the simple reason
Radersky's Furniture.
he
on
had a
Jasper
stove.
Avenue.
There was the only stove that was in Edmonton at the time, and that's we bought all our furniture there because he gave us the stove.
Well, you did good then. Elton made us a cupboard, and Dad made us a table and a dresser. I guess gave us the bed too. So I don't know. I guess the chairs come from there too, or boxes, whatever we had.
And even the table, I guess you had to nail it down for Lauren, huh?
Well, that was after Lauren got. He used to push it. We pushed it against the wall and we'd go out to milk. And we pushed the dishes at the back of the table because Lauren was good for knocking them on the floor. So he pushed the table away from the wall so we'd get at the dishes. So then we nailed it.
Nailed the table to the floor.
It was just spruce legs on the table and a spruce floor. It wasn't
Should have
no
just
problem.
nailed the kid's shoes
Didn't
to the
hurt
floor.
nothing.
Well, my version of when we were married, Dad's version's a little different, but I think my head was a little clearer of the whole bunch that was there. We had a room at the Royal George Hotel. Or
This
King,
is in the
King,
city.
King George
Well,
Hotel.
yeah, okay, I'm not arguing. Okay. Right. no problem with that. But this, I'm talking about the night of our
Night of-
dance.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
night of
but
our
which
dance.
was 2 weeks later, but whatever.
So the room we did wasn't in the city then, it was the Grand Hotel
In Warburg.
in
Yeah.
Warburg.
A hotel. Did we ever get a hotel by that time?
Mhm. I worked there in
We had a hotel, and
1939.
We had always had a hotel that I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when
1939
Benderman
and-
built it, but I didn't think you had it that soon.
He had it in 41 because that's when we come home on embarkation leave, and I went through there and got me a
He
6
started
pack of beer.
building that in about 1935. and
Yeah,
he
'cause that's
opened
where
it
you
in
met Doris, wasn't it?
1939.
At the hotel?
I met, but yeah, this was years later though. I had somebody else on the string at that time.
Ah,
passing through
okay.
it. But yeah, that's where, yeah, she was cooking and, well, she was a beer slinger and the cook and whatever, I guess, at the hotel.
Wouldn't be old enough to be beer slinger. You have to be 21
Oh,
to
yes,
be
I
in the
was.
bar.
She was beer slinging, I know that. I don't know how,
But that was in
yeah, she'd been 21,
1946 when
she'd
he
been
came
21
back.
then.
Oh.
Yeah, she was 21.
But I worked there in 1939, but I didn't work in the bar
Yeah.
part. But I worked in the kitchen and I was chambermaid. I did the rooms. Then I went back to school that fall, and I quit. No, I went back to school and I stayed in school until I was 15 and I quit. And that was when my sister Connie was born. 15? I must have been 16.
But talking about weddings, the only one that I can remember wedding, Bernard and Bertie and Maud and except our own was Louise's. When Louise and Elton got married, they were married over on the farm. Well, I guess.
I had the farm rented, but Elton used the buildings. We lived in Elton's building because there were just 2
Well,
rooms.
Bill Green was there at that time.
You know, that, but damn, yeah, I know of it.
When they were married.
It was Bill
Okay.
Green, Mrs. Bill Green, and both Mrs. Bill Greens that gave the
That was Bill Green's farm there.
that had the reception there. And
Because we'd all lined up, the thing that I can remember
So was
mostly,
Bill.
we all lined up and told you stand here and you stand there, and we got us all, and the preacher come in, and he got Louise standing there and Elton standing there. Finally, Bill come along. He was the best man, or what did he call him?
yeah,
And
and
he said,
he spoiled the whole
He
word.
said, "Where the hell do I
yeah,
stand?"
he did. I
He
can
never
remember that.
talked very nice.
Well, I mean, that was Bill Green. Where
That
the
was
hell
Bill
do I
Green,
stand?
yeah. That was his way of talking.
So that was the part. That's probably why I can
Didn't say
remember the
anything
wedding.
too bad.
Oh, you should have
He
it.
used to,
No,
well, they
I was-
taught Jimmy some
I was
good words. I won't
bridesmaid,
repeat
and
them.
afterwards I cried and cried and
Yeah.
cried. I thought, no, Maud doesn't live out here, and Louise is gone now. Vivian's too young, and I haven't got anybody anymore. Louise and we had chummed together then.
Louise and Elton lived with the Greens.
Yeah.
To start with.
Yeah.
So the first night they hung a cowbell under the bed. They said it didn't ring till 4 o'clock in the morning. Bill said, should I use the words? But I won't use the words that he used. He said, they're sure slow.
I think everybody can put the words to that.
Especially with Bill Green,
Who was Bill Green?
He was Elton's brother-in-law. He was married to Elton
And he
Canfield's
was-
sister. And he was a big
Big man?
stout
Short,
man.
but he was about to speak.
Yeah,
Bill played the drums, didn't he?
no, yeah,
See, he married Florence Canfield, didn't he?
yeah, Florence, yeah.
That was Elton's sister.
Mm.
Elsie Simons was the bridesmaid for Louise too. Elsie and I
don't
were.
remember that.
I don't
Yeah,
remember Elsie
El-
being there.
You
Yeah,
know, that,
Elsie
when they
Simons
start
was.
talking about these names,
We
it all
had
comes
the
back
shot
to me.
taffeta blue
Yeah,
dresses
Because
was.
we grew
on.
up then.
Yeah, bring back memories.
You mean you had special dresses for this
We
wedding?
had dresses
Oh, is
dresses
that
made.
right?
I don't know how I got it because I had no money.
Oh.
Louise must have bought that material, and
Okay.
Mother would have made the. Well, Elsie was a good source. She probably made her own, but and I
Probably.
suppose Elsie bought her own material. But Louise must have bought the material for my dress.
You sure it wasn't a dyed
Is he-
flower
is-
sack?
No, it wasn't dyed flowers like this.
Oh,
was
yeah,
shot-
flower sack petticoat on.
Yeah.
Most of the clothes
Yeah,
today, the dyed
flower
purple.
sack
Most of the time they wore flower sack.
underwear.
Yeah, underwear, yeah.
Yeah. That's all we
That's
had.
all the girls wore them, because I used to look.
Did you?
Well, how else would you have known? So how many kids did, who was the oldest, Maud?
Louise.
Louise was the oldest.
Then what? Then Bertie, then I.
Louise had 3 girls and a boy. or she had the boy and then the three girls. That's the way it went.
Okay.
She had Jimmy and Lois and Elsie and June.
Yeah, and then
Maud and
Maud was
Bill.
Maud had
Bill.
Bill.
And adopted two.
But the two she adopted were Vivian.
Vivians, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're the sisters.
What?
Did you want to take a break from it, or?
Just, yeah, oh, sure, if you don't mind.
You want to put some more? Yeah.
Well,
I'm not going to say very much. I'm not getting paid a good amount of now.
Hey, you're getting a screen test, you know, that should be enough.
we'll have to wait till they get
So
their
is
wallets
this
out, see how many money they
running
got.
now?
Yep.
And I'm just supposed to tell you how many kids I have?
Well, you name your
Well,
kids.
Pardon?
I said just how many kids you got and their names.
They have names,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
they?
okay. I think I named them all. I'm pretty sure I did. My oldest son, Mason, he's 61 now, not when he was born. He's Leeson Frederick Ruth, and then there's Rosaline Mary Ruth. And maybe that's kind of an interesting thing to tell you how Rosaline got her name Mary. Every time we had a girl, no matter which family it was born in, anytime there was a girl that was born, and we wrote down to Grandma Phipps and said, "There's another, she got another great one," and we called it so and so and so and so. And she'd write back and say, "That's a very nice name, but I wished you would have called her Marble, because she had a daughter Marble, and she would have liked one." So when Rosaline was born, I wrote down and said, "I'm going to give Grandma the chance to use her name Marble." And so I wrote down and said, "We're going to call our little girl Rosaline, and you're to give her the second name." And she wrote back and said she wanted her called Rosaline Mary. She thought that was a very pretty name. So we didn't get the Marble after all.
Marble in.
After every one of the other ones, she always wanted Marble.
What's that such a
And
nice
then
name
Raymond
anyway,
came
Marble?
along so many years afterwards, and we couldn't name Raymond. We fought about the name. I wanted him called Brian, and I forget what Rosaline wanted to call him, and Sam wanted to call him August. And I said, I won't have a child born in March and be called August. And so then finally we were arguing this, the three of us, and Leeson come in, and we said, "Leeson, we can't settle this child's name. You name him." So he said, "I want him called Raymond." And you can call him whatever you want. The second, and I said, "Well, he can have the August for the second name. That's fine." Sam can give him the second name. And I wasn't going to have his first name on it. So he got Raymond August. So Leeson named him. Leeson was real fun with friends then with that Raymond, what was his name? Raymond Feltman.
Oh,
And so Leeson thought there was no name like Raymond. So he got Raymond.
And Dad, we pretty well know what you've got. But you can still name them
So
anyway.
now it's your turn.
Well, I guess we had four, 2 boys and 2 girls. I always said it paid to have the boys first, that way, you know, at least you had them. There's some of Ida's family, they had 5 girls,
Yeah.
couldn't find any boys. So I said it paid to have the boys first. But first born was Lauren, named after Lauren Bernard, named after Ida's dad and after me. The second boy was Gordon Albert, named after Ida's brother and my father.
After me. Albert, I'm Albert.
You're Alberta.
No, I am not. I'm Albert.
yeah, but you should have said that Leeson, that first son of yours, was named after the famous Uncle Leeson.
Yeah.
Oh,
She did
Put
say
that in there.
It's in now.
We're going to have to redo this.
I'm going to go back and put it. This is after Uncle Leeson this year.
I wasn't disappointed
You
till
know,
now.
we never told you that you were my baby either.
So who's telling this story? I'm supposed to be talking about my children. You
Yes,
guys are telling it all.
Right. You go
My
ahead now. We're
first
sorry.
daughter was
We apologize.
Doris Ida. And Doris was named for the little girl we used to know, a neighbor girl, and Ida after her mother. And Irene, Daisy. I was to get kids picked out Irene's name. We didn't give her a name before she was born, so we asked the children what name they liked. So we started naming off names, and when they come to Irene, they had a cousin Irene, and they were very fond of her. So when they come to Irene, we'll call her Irene. So
And Daisy was
and
after.
Daisy after my mother.
That makes for quite a good-sized little family, though, doesn't it? By the time you add all these together.
Time you had all your
Yes.
grandchildren and great-grandchildren now, that's a beautiful family.
I think if they could get the whole Barager clan together, we could probably vote in our own government.
Yeah.
I
Probably have a
believe
better
that
one they
there-
got
there
now,
gotta be
too.
thousands of them.
Yeah, a better one they got now.
Yeah, well, they're spread right across Canada and the
I
United
bet
States.
if I got up near the top there in some fancy position, I would go for that. If I could vote in my own pension.
Well, that's
But
what
then
they're
it
doing.
comes
But then you'd be just like them guys that's voting in their own pension now, it'd be too big.
That's
Are you
because
trying
of
for,
Barager.
are you trying for the $500?
$500.
You get $500 if you're in desperate circumstances. If you apply for it and they pass it. And I'm not saying they pass it for you.
Where do
You have
go
to prove you're
Where do you
desperate.
go for this? I never heard of
When
it.
you pay your taxes, they hand you out a form. I got the form at home.
Didn't give me one.
I had to phone for
Yes, you're not
mine and they
desperate.
sent it in the mail to me. And I filled it out and said I would like the $500 back on my taxes, but whether I get it or not, that's another question.
Boy, I wonder why they get
They have
me
to
that.
tell you why you're in dire straits, and I didn't know what to put down because I wasn't really in that bad. I was getting 3 meals a day, so I didn't figure I needed
I
it
told
too
them I
bad.
was hungry, that I never got anything to eat. I had to pay all my money on my taxes.
I didn't know what to put down, so I didn't put anything down yet.
Well, do you want to go
I've-
back and get
I've never heard
Vivian's,
of this.
do you want, while you're getting kids' names, do you want
They're still-
Vivian?
Yes.
We
Yeah,
just got
Vivian
to
is
her.
next.
Yeah,
Where do you
Vivian's
talk?
next.
I can't even remember how many. Vivian had 6 children.
Yeah, she had Jim and
Gordon.
Gordon and Joan.
You should tell her that when Jim was born, Sam and myself
Yeah,
drove with a team of horses about 30 below to
Thorsby.
Thorsby.
Vivian was at my place.
We got Doc Hankin
Yeah,
and brought him out to your place.
yeah.
That's where
And
Jim
Billy-
was born, on the farm there. And what year was that?
I don't know, can't remember now, but Leeson was 3
Well, it
years
would be-
old and he was born in 44, so it must have been, I mean in 34, so it must have been about 30.
I was going to say
7.
36 or 37,
Yeah.
so I've been pretty close.
Yeah. Willie was staying at our place, and Willie took the horseback. It was a terrible blizzard going on, and went for Mother. And Mother was there that day with Vivian and had her into the doctor. And I said, she's going to have that baby tonight. Mother said, no, she's not. Dr. Hankins said 2 more weeks. And I said, I don't care. She's having it tonight, Mother, and you stay here. And Mother wouldn't do it. She said, well, you can send somebody after me. And so Willie, and he got nearly up, well, he got within about 1 mile or 2 miles from Mother's place, and the horse was breaking through the snowdrifts, and Willie thought, well, I can leave the horse and walk by foot and get there faster, so he left the horse and walked up to Mother's the rest of the way on foot, and you guys had Mother anyway, they had the team in the barn, and then they got out. They couldn't come through that way, the drifts were too high. They had to go up and get there and come down to our place that way. And then Willie had to walk back to his poor old horse and get back. I don't think he was too anxious to get back with the excitement going on at our place. And
Was that Vivian's first baby?
yeah, that was the first one, yeah. And but anyway, they got there just in time. They got there just in time. He just barely got there, the doctor did. But anyway, then we got down to Joan, and then after Joan was Billy was the next one, wasn't he?
Billy, yeah.
I don't quite
Yeah.
remember. I guess
Was
so.
then Billy, and then was
Gordon, huh?
Alan.
Alan.
And then
Oh,
was Vivian, or they
yeah.
called them, they didn't call them Alan and Vivian, they called them, and the baby was Isabel, but anyway, Maud changed their names afterwards.
So it was the last 3 that went to Maud, was it?
2.
The last 2.
2. Maud changed their names to Alan and Vivian, and Vivian's name was Isabel, and I can't remember what Alan's name was. Alan's name was something different, and I can't remember what it was.
I remember.
Oh, I thought that was their name when they left home.
No, Maud
Oh.
changed. They changed their name. Isabel was Vivian's name. I remember that. But
Vivian had too many to her financial condition.
yeah.
Her sister had 2.
So anyway, then after that came Billy, and he wasn't married. He didn't. We mentioned his children. And Lisa, you tell them your kids'
Tell
name.
mine.
You tell them yours now.
I gotta think this over because we weren't like the
You
rest.
you started with Gloria.
We had a whole herd of them. Yeah, first we started with Gloria, and then I'm a little different than Bernard. Bernard, he said he wanted boys and he wanted them first, so he knew he had them. And when I got married, I wanted one girl and possibly two girls. That was going to be the family. But I don't know whether it was mother's fault. It probably wasn't. We ended up with 6. But,
Naturally.
But we had, the
Naturally.
first one was Gloria. And I don't know why as far as figuring out where the names come from and whatnot, I don't really.
You had
Well,
the name
Gloria,
before
we
you
were-
left the hospital, and
We was
I was the only one that named him.
we was married in October, and Gloria was born in November. And this is people wondered how that could really be, be right, but it happened to be a year later. That's what on the 40th wedding anniversary, that's what they got pretty uptight about. You got married in October, and the baby's born in November.
I got to say a different year though.
But then come a boy. That was Russell. And I don't know. I guess he was named after Uncle Russell. And then, not too long after, about 16 months, I think, then we got another boy, which was Barry, living in Edson. And how he got that name, I don't really know.
Could I have just a minute here and I'll tell you
Sure
how Barry got his name?
Okay.
Anyway, Gloria was staying with us when Barry was born. And she went over the weekend to stay with her other grandmother. And then she come back to us. So in the meantime, she'd had this new brother. So I said, what are you going to call him, Barry? And she said, Strawberry Grandfather. I said, pardon me? I want to know what you're going to call your brother. Strawberry Grandfather, she said. I couldn't figure that one out, so I said, okay. I thought the child, maybe he's a little something, I don't know, I won't ask her anymore. But afterwards, the Barry, Strawberry, that's the only berry she knew. They were too hard up to ever have any other berries, so she knew Strawberry, and they called him after his grandfather. So she had
She got Strawberry Grandfather.
Yeah. So Barry, I don't know where the Barry come from, but the Lorne come from his grandfather, didn't it? Or wasn't it Barry Lorne, did you say? Go on, you go on now. I finished my story. You go.
Barry Lomer. Is that his?
No, who was it?
He's not Lauren, is
No, Barry's not. Mother, what's Barry's second name? It's Leeson, probably. One is named. I don't know their
he?
second
Don't know your son's second.
No, I do not. Even my daughters, I don't know what their second names are.
Well, you're worse than me. I couldn't
Well, you
even
got
know
me
the
good. You
years.
got
I
I
Barry.
didn't know the
many-
year. Bertie
how
was
far
sticking
down?
off the years. I didn't know the
I
years.
got 1, 2,
I didn't tell
3
the
there
years.
now. Well, then the next one was another little girl, Debbie.
I guess I do know the years too. I thought.
And I don't know where her name come from. I guess pulled it out of a hat. I can remember our son-in-law when they finally called it, or Tristan was just born. He bought a book of names and he'd go through, tear the page out, and he'd go through this other list. And I don't think he found the name in the book. I think he tore the book all up and they ended up. But I didn't do that. So then we had Debbie, and then I guess it was a fair length of time. Then we had Connie. And I guess I had, because Doris's sister Connie was one of my favorites. She was always such a righteous little girl, and she's still one of my favorites. So that's where Connie got her name. And then come Dean. And, well, he was called. What did we call him? Start with. I got 2 names. Now there you go. My gears are all locked up.
You should have had it all written down. It's on to you.
Terry. The first name was Terry, and that's what we called him. And he got we bought him or he got a little banjo from somewhere, and he used to play this banjo and sing, and they call him Dino, after Dean Martin. And so that's everybody. Then he ended up, and he's still called Dean.
But on his birth certificate, what is it?
That's a Dean, yeah. Terry
Dean?
Dean. It's yeah.
How old was he when you changed his name?
Oh, he probably about 3, 4. We got pictures of him one time here.
Wonder it didn't confuse him.
The whole family's here, and they're all sitting on the Duke, and Maud is here, and Mom, and the old Slugger here, and Dean's out there with his banjo just to perform. And so that ends. That's the last. That's 6, I think, wasn't it?
Russell didn't have any.
Russell Not that,
Not that we know of. He probably had quite a few.
I wouldn't, Russell, I wouldn't imagine Bill had too many, but I wouldn't put anything past Russell.
Well, Russell left town in a hurry a few times, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, he skipped town a few times.
Well, that was mainly, I think, to get from getting married. I don't know, was that about the babies, but it was getting married when he used to get his date all set and then he'd have to leave. So that's about the end of the kids in Bert and Daisy's family. But there's a pile of grandkids.
I want to say that my son, Leeson, was called after his Uncle Leeson. Uncle Leeson was my baby. He even called me Mama when he was a baby, when he learned to talk. And I had to take, first I thought this was going to be lots of fun taking care of a baby. Sometimes I didn't know. I spoiled him so bad I had to lay down with him every night to put him to sleep.
Well, I can say that my brother Leeson was named after his Uncle Leeson.
Yeah. So that's come down. So this Leeson should have had one of his sons named
Well,
after
that's
Leeson.
the part that I find
But
it
there was
difficult
another
to
Uncle
understand.
Leeson that you guys had, was there?
That was one of
My dad had a
Dad,
brother.
brother.
Brother Leeson?
Yeah. I guess that's where I got my name, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
But
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going
we
to say,
were all
with,
called after relations.
Yeah, I was named after Uncle Bernard, and George should be Uncle George, and my grandfather was also George, so take your pick.
but I've been so nice to my Bertie, and yet she ties me up in the Morris chair, in years gone later on.
The one
But
thing,
think of what an outlaw you would have turned out to be if you didn't have a sister that made you behave yourself a little
There
bit.
you probably got that right.
Yeah.
I think the story should be told how you've all used your second names.
Did that on the first
Because-
Did you that?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
My father had his
Yeah.
called by his second name. Mother only had one name, so I suppose maybe they thought that was the way to do it.
Yeah, his family, Dad's family was
Maybe
all.
we're all called by their
called by
second
their
names
second
too,
name.
probably. I don't know.
So maybe it was just the times that they'd done them things.
Do you remember the years that your mom and your dad died? I mean, your dad died first, didn't he?
53.
53, I think, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's right.
Daisy died. Actually,
I
well,
was-
you were away.
I was overseas then.
70.
No,
Was
it
Must
had
have been in the
76?
60s.
No,
Must have been 60s.
No, it was had to be in the 50s. Early.
No, Mom. Who we're talking about our mom.
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember.
Daisy.
Yeah.
That must have been 66 or 67.
Oh, we were in the new house where we then? Is that the,
I don't know,
yeah,
I was
guess.
overseas, so that's all I know.
Doris.
And I got here, it's 1968.
Yeah, I
she
know,
was
still
already
milking
dead.
cows. I had to go home
Oh,
and milk
it's in
the
there.
cows.
Doris.
Oh, yes, it would be in the 60s.
It had to be in the 60s.
Yes, yeah, Murray was just a little boy.
What year did Mom die?
Barager?
Yes.
Mhm.
1967.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
was the year
May
before I
the
got here.
May the 26th.
I know it had to be 66 or 67.
Yeah,
because
because I knew I got here
67.
in 68.
I was
She
overseas
was already gone.
when she went.
Murray was just a little fella, and he cried. He would say, I want to go in and see great-grandmother. And Doris said, I haven't got time today. I'll take you tomorrow. But she was gone now. On the morrow, she was passed away. So he cried. He said, but I want to go today. He said, but she said, I can't. I haven't got time today. But that's how little children feel.
Yeah,
They're
they
lumpers.
feel things, that's right.
They're lumpers.
You know, as kids certainly have sort of a second sight on a lot of things.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 That's because they're not so
He
close.
said, I
minded
want to
like
go
we
today.
are.
She said, I haven't got time today.
Guess I should have taken them.
Yeah, she should have taken him that day.
But we can
Yeah,
all
hindsight,
look
I mean,
back and think
hindsight,
things
oh,
we
yeah.
should have done,
Yeah,
and we
hindsight.
didn't do them. We put
Yeah,
it
I
off
know.
till it was too late.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
Bertie and I were at the hospital and practically all day, weren't we? And 5 o'clock came and we decided that we should go home because I had cows to milk and
I left at 9
Sam
o'clock.
was working.
I stayed.
And-
And Bertie stayed till about 1, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that when Sam
Was that
came.
at the Leduc Hospital?
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
And I asked the doctor the doctor had come in just before that, and I said, shall I stay all night? And he said, if you're going to stay all night tonight, he said, there could be 2 weeks yet.
Yeah.
And he said, are you going to stay all night, every night for 2 weeks? And I said, well, I don't think I can hardly do that. And he said, I would advise you to go home
No.
and get your rest. He said, I'm sure everything's safe for tonight. So
Yeah.
Sam came along about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I forget where he was, but he knew I was going to be there at the hospital, and he stopped in. They were coming back from taking a load of honey or something somewhere, I think. So he'd stopped in. So I said, well, she's sleeping so nicely, I'll go home. But at 4 o'clock in the morning, they phoned us. And
Yeah, because I
if we'd have
know.
known that, we'd stayed, but who knows?
Yeah, I know that Mom was telling me too that she looked as healthy as a horse.
Yeah, she sat up on the side of the bed and had some supper.
Yeah, she ate peach. She said they'd brought her poached egg. And she said, what is there, Bertie? And I said, there's a poached egg. Oh, I can't stand eggs. And I said, but there's a nice peach. Oh, she'd have the peach and a piece of toast. And then the kids were crying, and they had her right close to the children's ward. And she kept saying to me, you go in and bring Leeson and Russell to me, and I'll stop them from crying. Then she had
So
that.
she had
that
lapsed
Leeson
back
and
a bit,
Russell,
yeah.
yeah. And I said, Mother, you know, you're not feeling well. That won't hurt them to cry. Let them cry. And so then I went out and said to nurse, you've got to stop those children from crying. They're upsetting my mother. So she stopped them for a while, and they started again. And then she said, Bertie, you go and bring those 2 boys to me, and I'll give them both a good spanking. She said, they won't stop crying. I'm going to give them both a good spanking. And I said, well, I'll go and see if I can stop them, and then if you can't, I'll bring them and you can spank them. But they went and I don't know if they moved the kids or what they did, but I never heard the kids crying anymore anyway. So.
Well, sounds like she had a very long and interesting life, though.
Yes, I guess so. She had a fairly hard life.
She had a tough life.
I can remember
She was a tough lady.
when we were smaller, and I never, you know, you say hindsight after she's gone, and you think of, you know, the things that you could have done to make life easier for her.
Well, you don't think of that when you're
Never,
a kid,
you
though.
know.
She was
We
always
should have been kicked in our butt more than once for things.
She was always
Just-
whistling.
always whistling, and at the end she couldn't whistle anymore, and she was always going
Oh, yeah.
just like this, you know, but because she was always whistling, she was always happy,
You have to be happy.
singing and whistling.
She wasn't a complainer.
No, she never complained.
Well, she was English, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm. Born in England.
She would come here very young, though, didn't she?
I think she was about 7, wasn't she? Or was she that old?
I thought somebody said about 3, but I could be wrong.
When Mother came over,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she was 13 months.
Oh, I thought she was a...
No, she was 13 months. She said when she came over. Yeah, yeah, she
I
was
thought
just a baby,
I thought
just a
she could
baby.
remember the trip, the way
No.
she coped.
My goodness, those were the times, though, where Canada was really just getting going. And you had to be a brave settlers in those days.
Yeah, when you go down and see the country that they came to, and you can, the trees, you know, the places that still got trees on, you can just see, and you can imagine what it was like
Trying
to
to
make
hack
them
their way
just like
through them?
that, and how they come in and hack the living out when the families they had, I
don't know what did Grandfather Phipps do?
I don't
You know, I don't remember Mother ever saying that he ever did anything. My
Yeah.
grandmother made the living by the
Yeah.
sound of it.
He, shortly after they were here, they were putting up hay or something, and he laid down in the hay field and got a stroke or something, and he was always left partially crippled or something else. Is what we never knew the
True
grandmother
real
worked.
stories or anything that went on. There's just
Mother
bits
only
and
went
pieces.
about grade 4 to school, and then she had to stay home and help her mother at home. And
Well, that was about the normal time for school anyway for most. Dad, I don't think had that much, did he? About 3.
I think basically you went to school to learn how to read and write, and that was about it.
Yeah, that's...
and he's the one that's buried at, yeah, he's been buried at
Great,
Grassy Lake. huh?
Grassy Lake.
Grassy
Grandfather
Lake.
Phipps is buried at Grassy
Yeah.
Lake. Grandmother's at Claire's home. I don't know why they didn't put them together.
I
but
don't
that's-
know, I don't know.
Did you know your grandparents when you were little?
I met my grandmother myself. I only met one grandparent, now my grandmother down there at Stavely. And she was probably 90 years old at the time.
I'd seen my
That's the only one
grandmother.
that I met.
I'd seen my grandmother a couple of times and my grandfather once.
we have that on video.
Have we?
Yeah.
But
How
the
about
Barager grandparents, I never seen either one of them.
I wonder why. Well, they lived too far away, or?
Well, the Barrigers aren't visitors. They don't visit other Barrigers to start with.
Grandmother Barager visited us I was 3 or 4, so you must have been a baby, you
Right,
know.
yeah, I can't
you
remember
wouldn't
her.
remember.
I
I
can't
just
remember
barely
her.
remember. I just barely remember. I wanted to go to Sunday school with Louise and Maud, and you're too little, you can't come with us. And I cried, and I remember Grandma Barager saying, you come with me. And she took me in the bedroom and gave me some money. It probably was a penny. Yeah.
Made you
Probably
feel
was
better
a
though.
penny. But she was I can remember her being a dear old, dear person. Very dear person.
Well, I think we've pretty much
If you want that
Maybe we should have that story of that
pig dog.
pig dog.
if you want the big dog, can I tell a funny little story how I got the best of Bernard one? This is a dirty story.
Yes.
But we had to, this was, we were living in Hardesty yet, and Maud and Bernard and I, we had to sleep together because us three, we did not wet the bed. Louise and Vivian slept together because they were bedwetters. And so, but one night I dreamt, and I somehow had got over into Bernard's part of the bed. He always
Quite
slept,
easy, because his
he-
beds were just
yeah,
like this
he slept in
anyway.
the middle, and I got into the middle, and I had a dream, and I wet the bed. And so I crawled over quick and left Bernard there. In the morning, Mother said, what happened, Bernard, when you wet the bed? And
He
so-
probably wouldn't know whether he did or not.
so
Probably didn't.
he couldn't get away. He couldn't get away from it. The bed was wet. And I was sure. I never said a word. That's one time I got the best of the night.
First time you've told that story, is it?
No, I think I told it maybe a long time afterwards. I think I told Mother. You remember the time you thought Bernard wet the bed? Well, it wasn't Bernard, it was me. But
Yeah,
The
you-
beds we used to have to sleep in.
Yeah.
too.
all
Straw
three of us.
ticks and straw would all work out to the outside and there'd be nothing in the middle.
And they just
And
keep
now
rolling
the kid
through
hasn't got its own bedroom. It's going to grow up retarded or something,
Well, that's why we're all retarded, I
And
guess.
three of us had to sleep together in one bed.
Well,
But at least we got we had a good name for ourselves. We didn't wet the bed.
well, we done that on the old farm over there. I guess Russell must have slept with Mom.
Yeah, most of the time.
Bernard and Bill and I slept together on the couch. In the wintertime, in the summer we slept in the granary. We went outside and we had a granary we slept in. But in the wintertime, and I being the youngest, I had the middle, and I didn't blame. I didn't mind that because when it got cold, Bernard and Mom used to sit up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, keep the fire going. And by the time they got up at 7, the water in the kettle would be freezing again in the reservoir. So I didn't mind sleeping in the middle. That was the place to be.
Well, this story about Grenville and Pig Dog, as Bernard has already told you, that was our favorite swear word, was Pig Dog.
Mine, not yours. You
Well, it
didn't
was
swear.
mine. Yeah, it was mine too. I used
Ah, you
Big Dog.
did.
Because you used it, I used it too. You set the bad example to me. And anyway, there was this lady in Hardesty that lived close to us, and she was very good to us. And she had all these nice toys, and she let us come and play in her yard. And she said all these toys was for her grandson Grenville when he come to visit. And Bernard and I, we made up right away that we didn't like Grenville. I guess we were jealous. And when he come, we were going to swear at him, and we wouldn't play with him. So the morning that she come out and said, "Oh, come right in, Grenville's here," we turned around and ran home yelling, "Pig Dog Grenville," both of us. I was yelling as hard as you were. We were both yelling, "Pig Dog Grenville, Pig Dog Grenville," as hard as we could holler, and ran home. Well, Grandma, she felt very bad, and she got Grenville. She thought we were saying Pig Dog Grandma. And she come over to Mother's, and I guess she was just about crying. Those dear little children of Mother's that had always treated her so nice, and they had been yelling at her and calling her Pig Dog. And so Mother called us in, and so we said, no, we said Grenville. We didn't say Grandma. We wouldn't say Pig Dog Grandma. But then we said we were only teasing Grenville. We didn't mean it. And we apologized and said he could come and play with us. But we never liked him. We played with him, and we had a hard time being nice to him, but we were nice to him because if we weren't, we wouldn't get to play with all these nice toys and get cookies and
Well,
things.
I hope you're telling the truth
Yeah.
because I can't remember a thing about it.
Yeah. So when as soon as we start home and get outside of far enough away from the house so they couldn't hear us, we'd start saying Pig Dog Grenville, Pig Dog Grenville. We'd say this all the way home. So we thought.
How old would I be?
Well, I would be about possibly 5 or 6, so you would be 4. You'd be big enough. You were old enough to know better.
All I can remember the bars,
Yeah.
That before we moved over to the other side of town?
No.
We remember
We
the
never,
name
the
thing,
bars, we never moved to the other side of the town, that's where we lived.
You know, I remember the bars, but I
Yeah.
don't remember Grenville.
Yeah, it's funny you didn't remember Grandma because, oh, she was good to us kids. She always,
Remember the bar
always
children.
gave us cookies and candy, and she was very good to us. Well, I guess she was lonesome for Grenville. When Grenville wasn't there, I guess she was happy to have,
just some other kids
have
around.
us kids. But,
Well, it goes to show you weren't always little saints, eh?
pardon?
I said, goes to show you weren't always little saints.
That's right. Far from being saints.
Who's going to raise a saint?
Does anybody
Well-
remember any other stories? That doesn't matter if it
You
goes
have
back
any other
ways.
stories you want to tell?
I don't know if you ever told that story about Bill. Every time Bill catch up to you, he'd run again, and he'd always lagging behind.
Well, that's one time Vivian and I were going to school. And Bill was late getting started, so he ran so hard to catch up, and that was my idea too, and I'm ashamed of it. I said to Vivian, when he catches up, he said he'll be played out, so we'll run then. So that's what we did. It was a dirty trick.
You run and then walk
We ran
again.
and left him behind because he couldn't run anymore. He was like-
Bill,
We'll shut this off a second.
Yeah, we're gonna go. You guys are busy, and I gotta go haul oil yet anyway.
I think we're
I think
Just-
we're pretty much done.
another 5 minutes, and we'll.
All right, 5.
5 minutes, count them off.
Your 5 minutes, Russell.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that Telfordville farm, though, when we first went out there, was all solid bush, so we had to clear all the land.
Yeah, you-
At 12 years old, I guess I didn't clear much land at 12, but
I think you and Mother,
at 13, mother, even at 12, mother and I went
I
out
guess
a
you
while.
have to
So,
pick rocks and everything else, huh?
well, there was no water rocks on that farm.
No?
No,
Just
but it
clear
was
the
just
wood out.
bush.
Bush, they had.
But it was fairly small bush. It wasn't big trees. Not that farm. It's the one at Thorsby. That was there were lots of rocks at Thorsby on that farm, and big trees too. But
Yeah, well, even now on the old farm there at Thorsby, you can see the big rows of rocks that she'd stacked.
there was lots of rocks on that
It's
farm.
been a lot of backbreaking work.
But it's,
Yeah, but they never hired anybody to clear land there, was there?
no, it was all,
What was cleared was you and Mom mainly. I can remember, much as I didn't like it, going out there and picking. Bernard would cut it down, and we had to pick it up and pile it there in
Yeah.
the summertime. And we weren't very big, but
yeah, that one year, Dad hired you boys. You cleared off 20 acres, I think. That one.
but yeah, that's after.
After you were growing it.
Yeah, but-
men with it.
But
Young
after
men.
when I become the chief, when Bill and I got into a fight, and Bill took off, and I become the chief farmer, which I was 14 at the time. There was quite a few acres there. Must have been-
Yeah.
I was going to say 80
We-
acres, but I
yeah,
don't
we
know
were-
whether it was 80 acres cleared or not, but it was close
we
to
we were breaking around 10 acres a year.
that. Yeah.
One year was, I think, was 13 or 14 acres.
What did you have in crops? I mean, is that how you made your money? Was by crops or cattle
Well,
or
Dad
what?
working out. I mean, and mostly the crops weren't worth nothing. The wheat was only 17 cents a bushel, and oats was 4 cents a bushel, and barley was 8 cents a bushel. That's the time of the Depression in the 30s. It was,
But they used to-
pigs were down as low as $1.75.
But we always milked a few cows and
We always
soap
ate.
cream,
We always had lots to
eggs.
eat.
Yeah, it was always.
Our first year of marriage, we probably grossed about $250. But I said we always had lots to eat and lots to wear, but everything else was cheap as of those days.
Yeah, you
have
just
a
didn't
big
have any
garden,
luxuries
too.
or anything.
Right?
I said no luxuries or anything back then.
No,
We
not
never
really.
expected them. I mean, you didn't miss them. You didn't
Nobody
know.
had anything.
No, you didn't know the difference.
Everybody was in the
Everybody's
same boat.
yeah.
Nobody had any money.
Like the big picnic day at Talbot, and you got 15 cents to spend. That was a
Big treat.
big treat, yeah.
Yeah, that's my mother ever given me any
you
money.
put it-
I think 15 cents is the most she had ever gave me. That was that we used to have some shows that used to come out to Talbottville, and for 15 cents you could go to a show, and that's all I got was 15 cents.
And then picnics used to have races, and you put out for the money that was in there. I think we were always pretty good with speed and generally make another nickel or a dime in a race. And so that helped out a lot.
But my dad didn't want me to go to school. He said, "You're worth more at home. You're at school."
Which it did.
Well, yeah. Well, them days, I mean, schooling wasn't. When you got out of school, you went
It
and
was all
dug ditches.
manual labor. You could always get a job because everything was manual. There was no big machines to.
Yeah.
It was all manual labor in those days. They wanted a ditch dug. Well, they hired a bunch of men to dig it. There was no big backhoe,
Big backhoes and, yeah.
drag lines or anything. The man with a shovel.
I imagine there was always lots of work around, though.
Well, there's
Not
always
like
lots of
today
work.
where you can't get any work.
I know, there was always lots of work for everybody, whether you had schooling or not. There was always lots of work there. They always needed men with a shovel.
Well, all the girls went to school, too.
Even more farther than I did, that's for sure. I guess maybe.
How far did you go, Bertie? You go through 12?
No, I put myself through grade 9. I worked, I stayed home from school that 1 year. Then I turned 16, and then I went to work for Seidel's, and I saved that money, and went back to school for another year in Edmonton, worked for my board. I had that money to buy my books and an odd bit of clothes that I had to have. It was awfully hard. I never had any, but where I worked for my board, they were awfully good to me. She used to give me a little spending money once in a while, too. And I got through grade 9, and then that summer, I went down to Farintosh to work because I could work at a hotel, and you made $35 a month instead of $20 a month where you'd have to do, and I thought, well, for $40 I can't go back to school. $70 I might. But I got down there, and you had a little money to spend, and I was having a good time too. And then this family offered me a job in the morning, and I could go to school in the afternoons, and I could take as much, and I could work that for them that long as I wanted to, till I got through my high school. So I thought, well, that's a good deal. That's what I'll do. But your plans never always work out. That spring, that woman got a bad appendicitis attack and was taken to the hospital, and they had a baby and 3 little ones, and I stayed home then. I didn't get to go to school in the afternoon anymore. So that was it, and I was discouraged then. I never went back to school again after that. So I got part of my grade 10, but I got my grade 9 and part of my grade 10, and that's all I got.
I had grade 6, and I took part of grade 7, but with the chores and everything, I never knew I never went often enough to really know what was going on.
Yeah.
I was far behind everybody else.
And I spent all my schooling in Talbottville School. I didn't quite make 8. I got sick. I got what they thought was calves all had it on the ear. What do you call that?
Ringworm.
Ringworm. I got down my chest, and it finally spread all over. I don't know what it was. Finally spread all over my body, and I lost about 6 weeks of school. Finally, Dr. Hankins said, "Well, if you want to cure it, I can cure it for you, but it isn't very nice." And but this time it's all my body, and they gave me, I guess it was a pink lotion of some kind, and it just dried it up. Just like something like an alligator, and it just cracked open all over. But at least within 2 weeks, I was finished with it.
Back to normal, yeah.
And there was that doctor, not the teacher, that man we had, Malloy, I think it was. He tried to get me to come back. He said, "You can make it. You can still make it. You're grade 8." I didn't want that. School wasn't my bag anyhow. I didn't want to go, and I was chief farmer, and I would sooner drive the horses and go and sit in the desk. So I stayed home and down the farm, and that was just. I didn't quite make my. I guess Vivian probably got 8.
Back to 9. I don't know if she takes for 9 or not.
Where did she go to 9?
I didn't tell her you'll have 9 at that time.
8.
She got her 8 then, I guess.
Wasn't it? Yeah, 9 was high school then.
Sometimes they used to let them have 9 at Talbottville.
To me, she was
I
having
think-
9.
I think I could have went to Talbottville for 9.
Or did
But
they teach 9?
I wanted to go to Edmonton because they wouldn't give you a language at Talbottville, and I wanted to take a language. And so that's why I wanted to go to Edmonton.
What language did you take?
I took French, and I've still got the reports from my exam. I made 96 in my French exam, I think it was.
Talk some French for me.
Yeah, I never could.
Oui, oui.
Yeah.
Mademoiselle.
I was
From Armor Tears.
Je Russian. See, I can't even remember any of it. We didn't learn much for
That sounds
speaking.
Russian, huh?
More, we learned the verbs and they said the second year we would get into to speaking some, but
Yeah.
not the first year. That we were reading, I was reading well and writing it well, you know, as far as we'd taken it. Or I wouldn't have made 90 some if I
Oh,
hadn't
that's
have
right.
done good in it.
That's right. You said 5 minutes for Russell.
Oh, okay, well, has anybody got a footnote or anything like that?
Really, you're the oldest thing. Finish it up.
No, I just don't think I'd like to see this now, and I hope it turns out real good. And
Oh, well, we'll make sure you have a copy.
that's,
No, I'd like to say
It might
thanks to.
sound like we had a rough life at times,
Mhm.
but it was actually very,
Mhm.
I don't regret it at all.
I guess by the standards of today, it was a rough time, but I looking back over it, a lot of the things that we went through, I would do it again.
We
Because
did.
I'm a kind of hillbilly type anyhow.
I don't regret my life.
No.
I think I earned my way.
I don't like the way the world's going today, and
No,
I
I
think we
think
had
it
a
was
far
much-
better.
Much better life
I
then.
think so.
I feel sorry for the young people nowadays. We didn't have all these things put in front of them that they have nowadays put in front of them. You know, there was the drink and the drugs and all this stuff that's put in front of them from the time they're can crawl almost.
But they miss out more on a lot of what you had between, like you said, all these little picnics and that when you were
Yeah.
kids. You don't have them anymore.
We're taught more
It was
moral
family.
values
Yeah.
and
I mean,
value.
it was neighbors too. Now it's very individual. If you do have a party, it's under your own family, and not neighbors come like say the Tubbardale picnic used to be for miles around, and they brought their livestock to be judged, and their vegetables and their kids, and horses used to be paraded, and it was something.
Well, the
worth
only
going to
thing that
see.
we get to see like that is when we watch
Even
something like Little
Gordon-
House on the
even-
Prairie. on TV.
Even Gordon got second prize
For
as a
what?
baby.
Oh yeah.
Jim Canfield
What, the
took
loud
first
lungs?
one time.
Maybe.
Did Jim Canfield take first?
Mhm.
Oh.
Oh, there was lots.
I know
of
Louise was awful disappointed that Elsie didn't take a prize.
Well, but Louise and Dr. Hankin was the judge, and Louise and Dr. Hankin were as thick as two peas. I thought maybe. But-
Yeah, I know. Is it?
But Jim
And
was.
that's the way the first prize, Hankin
That
was
was-
thick as two peas with the mother of the first prize baby too. I think that's why
Yeah, I
that
think
baby got
Pippin-
first prize instead of Gordon.
But I can remember Jim though that when he did take, he'd been out in the sun and he was brown and tanned, and he got his cod liver oil, and he really got taken care of, and he was a nice baby. I can remember that part of him because I stayed with Louise for about a
You
year.
lived with him there
I
for
was
about
raised with him for
I
a
think.
year, and he was actually, I said more, babysat him more than his mother did.
I can remember my dad saying, "It's time Leeson come home. He'd been over there long enough."
And I can remember that. I did that when I got to go home. I was happy to get home again after spending the best part of a year away, which wasn't very far, only a couple of miles.
A mile across country.
Well, it's been nice having this time together with June and
Yes.
Gordon.
And
Otherwise,
even as brought
we
us
don't
three together.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, we didn't hardly,
Making all-
and we didn't know them very
Well,
good.
no, but we
Since
want to
they've
thank you
grown-
too because
since
we've
Gordon's
learned so
grown
much
up. I knew him quite well when he was
out of
a
this.
child.
This is,
We got together.
I mean, we've learned more in this last couple of times together than we have in, well, all the years that I've been here.
I've learned a lot of stuff too. A lot of that I've heard. It was before my time. I was one of the later ones. So